BlogTalk Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Distinguished Black Gentleman Inc. show. I am your host, RJ Mack, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. We're coming to you live on BlogTalk Radio. We're an interactive show, so we're also on Facebook. We're on YouTube. So if you're joining us today on YouTube or Facebook, please go ahead and throw in your name and throw in where you're from. Let us know the area that you're coming from. I'm glad everyone is here to join us today. This is a very exciting show. We have some very exciting guests. We got our regular panelists on, my brothers, Courtney and my brother Stu. They joined us today. We got Amare Amari, and we have Oscar Mike Speaks. We're going to talk about mentorship in the Black community. We're going to talk about leveraging business credit. We're probably going to end up ranting about some other stuff, so please stay tuned and listen in because you're going to hear some great information. We are accepting calls. You can call in to the BlogTalk Radio show, and you can add stuff. You can ask questions, 845-277-9427. Amari is actually a business coach, so you can call in and ask some questions. Don't try to pump too much information out, my man, because he does charge for this. But you can ask some basic questions, and we can get you some answers and help get you started today. We're not going to really do that whole, I'm not going to do the current news updates today. We're just going to really go ahead and jump right on into the main subject. I'm just going to give people a couple more minutes to come in. Like I said, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit that like and share button for me. Hit that comments. Let me know that you're joining us right now. That way we can, that way I know what's going, I know who's with us. So there you go right there. Ready to build today with some kings. And go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and pause this music and get it started on this. Actually, I wanted, instead of doing the current news update, I want to show a little video that we saw today. Remember we talked about the 5 Bloods, and we were talking about how it kind of shedded a lot of light on what was going on for Black military members over in Vietnam, and probably even more, like if you go back to Korea and stuff like that. I thought this was a pretty good insight on that. I like the way these brothers talk back then too. Like Courtney said, maybe we need to start talking like that again with that free flow. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I'm gonna play this video for you. Let me get it all set up real quick. Once again, if you're jumping in on Facebook Live, go ahead and let us know that you're in here with us. Let me go ahead and share the video real quick on my page just to make sure everybody can see. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and share this screen and get this video going.
They said the afro was legal. Am I right or wrong? That's what they said. It was legal. We can sport an afro. All right. This man, there's a lot of brothers here. This man here's got an afro. This is an afro right here. Or somewhat of an afro. It's not big, no. But they want us to wear skin hair. What they call it? It's not my culture. Am I right or wrong? They come over here. They get, all right, a Vietnamese girl. She called me a nigger. A Vietnamese girl. I know it's not part of their language. Can't nobody tell me it's part of their language. But I'm gonna go over here. The beast, you know that. See, we go over here, we fight. Okay, we fight to defend the water we drink, the land we grow our food on, and our way of culture. We also fight to protect Rockefeller's foundations. We fight to protect J.B. Kennedy's foundation. All these different kind of foundations that the black man can't partake of. You understand? And then we go back, we're continuously harassed. It's not necessary. This ain't what we heard. This is what we know. See, we've seen it from the bird's eye point of view. We are the people here now. See? We see it now. This ain't what we heard.
Now, just like you said, these young people don't know how to where the word nigga came from or nothing. They have to learn how to speak it. You go out there in that field. The first time I come over here, I goes out in the field. I falls into one of these places, and I'm thrown out because I'm black, you know? Because I'm black. They don't like us. They say we start trouble. Now who to put this stuff in their mind? You know what I mean? The beasts came over here and brainwashed these people. We get out here and try to do our thing, and they want to downrate us because we're black. Because the beasts came over here and told them that we ain't nothing but trouble. Because we got a strong rapper and they scared we're going to take the women away.
Wait a minute, let me tell you something about down south. Let's say downtown in July this year right here. When the so-called the beast, this is what we call them because they act savage and barbarous like animals. They said the Afro was legal. Am I right or wrong? That's right. That's what they said. It was legal. We can sport the Afro.
All right. So that was just a little something that was shared on the Savory Show. It kind of coincides with what we were saying about, what we kind of picked up on from watching the Five Bloods, and a little bit from our experience too, from our parents and our grandparents who fought in the Vietnam War. These brothers and some of the stuff those brothers were going through, we had to go through too. And we were talking about that also, about how we couldn't wear do-rags and we couldn't wear certain things that they considered black to black culture. So I'm going to go ahead and start bringing in my brothers right now. That way we can go ahead and kick off this conversation. We're going to start off with Courtney. What up, Courtney?
What's good, brother?
Thank you for joining us today. Courtney's joining us from Texas. We're going to bring in Stu. What up, Stu? You mute, bro.
There's always one, huh? What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man? Go ahead and bring in Oscar Mike. What's up, Oscar?
Oscar mute too, ain't he?
I'm here. Red.
He just hitting us up from his bad Wi-Fi. And we got our guest Amari. What's up, brother?
Hey, it's all good, family. How you brothers doing?
We're doing great, man. Thank you for joining us, man. And it's great to have you on. We're all veterans on here. We're all black veterans, 3 Marines and 1 Army guy. So let me ask you, what you think about that video I just showed? What did you get from that? Did that sound a little familiar to you?
Myself?
No, with the video I just showed about with the Black Marine.
You asking me the question, correct?
Yes, you the question.
Okay. Definitely. It still exists today, man. When you're dealing with discrimination, there's no doubt about it. The redlining, you still see it. Taxation with no representation, misappropriation of funds. All those things still exist today in our neighborhoods. It hasn't went anywhere, although it may not be as intense as it was during the time of our ancestors, Jim Crow, but it still exists.
Right. Like you said, it still exists. Like I mentioned, we was still getting told that we couldn't. Like I remember when we were in Okinawa, we couldn't wear our regular urban wear, but they could wear their cowboy boots and their cowboy hats and their buckles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. So Stu, what do you got? Do you got some thoughts about that video that we showed?
Yeah, I got thoughts. It just takes me back to, I was talking to a lot of family members who served in Vietnam. I got nothing but the utmost respect for our ancestors, man, and those that paved the way for what we got today. Just having those candid one-on-one conversations, man, I heard some stories that made my eyes water, man. It made me realize, although we got it rough today still, but there's nothing in comparison to what they went through and what the boots they had to go through. Like I was talking to my uncle, man, in Vietnam. He was saying that they was over there for a couple years, man. And even if they got promoted, when they got back to the fleet, it was temporary. So those guys didn't get promoted for years, man. And you got other, people of different hues getting promoted. And some of those same guys now who became senators and decorated veterans and, colonels, all that kind of stuff, who served in the Vietnam War, it was on the backs of our ancestors, man, and our brothers from the 60s and 70s because they couldn't get promoted, but they did all of the work. And I didn't know, he was telling me I think even in all of the is it Normandy where all of the graves are built for the veterans and stuff over there. He was telling me the black troops built all those graves. They dug all the graves. He said we was used for labor, man, for all of that stuff over there. But that stuff is not talked about. So we talk about D-Day and all this stuff, paying tributes. They show all of those graves. Our people built those graves. We dug all of that stuff. So there's a lot that happened in that time frame that, man, I just pay even more homage to. So I'm very appreciative, man, of what we got today. I'm very careful about saying things haven't changed because of what I know they went through. It's still bad, though, but it's not what they went through. That's all I want to say.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna got you guys' thought on that just real quick. Just wanted to show that video real quick because, like we said, we did that whole episode on D5 Bloods, and it is important to highlight what our ancestors went through. You know, I know we say we went through a whole bunch. We went through this, we went through that, but like you said, Stu, they went through a lot. You know, and it's crazy. Like I read that story about in England how they made that bar black only. Courtney, you got something that you want to add, bro?
I just want to say that it did tie into the Five Bloods because in the Five Bloods, the one thing that stuck out to me is when they were talking about how that the Viet Cong learned how to degrade us from watching our fellow troops and brothers in arms and stuff. And the Marines in that clip said the same thing. So it just hits me a different way when you hear that from two different sources.
Yeah, that source was on. That was the source.
Yeah,
that was the source. Yeah, they said that. That's crazy, man. I've heard that I actually heard that from my Vietnamese friends. They told me that themselves. They was like, we had so much respect for y'all, but it was them. They didn't want. They would shut down our bar if we let them in the bar. All right, you have something to add to that, Oscar? Or you want to move on?
So I'll add something quickly. You know, I think it's a shame that, you know, our black soldiers, airmen, marine, and sailors went over and fought in Vietnam. And the fact that they came back to a land who cared nothing about them or their story. I mean, we take the movie The Five Bloods and how it depicted the story of the 5 African-American gentlemen that went over and fought in the Vietnam War. And then they had to add a little spice to it. I understand how Hollywood works, right? But they did capture some of the things that they went through. They came back. There weren't jobs. No one really cared about them except for ourselves or whatever. And then when you look at it through history, right? Tell me someone who's a black person who we celebrate, who distinguished themselves throughout the Vietnam War. I'll wait. Exactly. Which we know that we've actually contributed and a lot.
Correct. You were right about that, bro. That was a good question. Never thought about it. Hey, if anybody wanted to go ahead and throw in their thoughts, please throw them into the chat on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live. Remember, we do have the call-in number. I will be checking to see if we got any people on hold every once in a while. I'll bring you on. You can call in again. 845-277-9427. The number will keep rolling on that bottom screen. All right, we'll move on to our main topics. The first, okay, we got one person who threw in. She said, my father served during Vietnam. His story sounded a lot like the video you showed. He said, never trust a white man to watch his six. Ooh.
Damn.
Ooh.
Damn. It's true though. It's true though. We done had this talk before, man.
Dude, that's kind of harsh.
Right. Before you go, I want to say one more thing. Hey, my uncle was telling me that stuff was real if a new lieutenant or a new leader came in and he didn't want to get the program, he went missing, bro. That stuff was so real. He said, especially, you know, they get in the choppers to evacuate and leave. 1 minute he's standing in the door. By the time they land, he was gone. They said that stuff was real out there like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he's an old man. He just sit around and tell me stories, man. So it's crazy.
I mean, think about what's going on in Fort Hood right now. I can imagine in Vietnam, you made somebody mad. All they had to do was friendly fire.
Yeah. Or you fall off the chopper.
You fall.
That shit's sad, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll move on to the next topic, man. What we wanted to talk about was mentorship in the Black community. I just had a question because I wanted to see with Amari, you said you were doing some things in the community. I just want to start off by saying first, if you want to be a mentor, you do have to become, they say the best leaders are followers. So what did you do to first start learning, the things that Amari, so you can be a mentor in the community?
You was right on target. Definitely following after the right people and pretty much, having wisdom, having knowledge, having understanding. Of course, being a former Marine and serving for a total of 20 years, and in the community, you learn leadership. And that's something that I definitely had learned is that it's okay to follow. It's all about who you're following. You know what I'm saying? So, as for myself, I personally feel like you're chosen to do it. Everybody leads in some type of way, shape, or form of fashion. Whether you're a big cousin or a big brother, etc. All of us are leading in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I feel like personally that what is key though is the person that you're following, because if the blind lead the blind, you both fall into the ditch. Thank you for the question.
That's cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
I wanted to I found a little article in the blog on Huffington Post. This it's written by a black gentleman, and I just wanted to see if you guys kind of felt the same way. I just wanted to show 2 paragraphs out of it. It's nothing, we're not going to read the whole paragraph, but he did say something that kind of caught my eye, and I kind of heard some people say the same thing. I didn't really expect this, but that's just me because I'm kind of, I don't know what you call it, not very optimistic all the time.
You don't know what you call it.
So this article, just to show you real quick, is mentoring. It's written by Matt Drayton. He's an author, speak quarter. You can see he's a black gentleman. Mentoring is desperately needed in the black community. And I just wanted to point out this one part. He said, when Barack Obama was elected as POTUS in 2008, I was sure we would see an uptick in academic improvement amongst African-American males. I was sure that the pride amongst young African-American boys would swell, and we would see a new generation of black leaders, academics, and professionals pursuing excellence after witnessing the historical election of the nation's first African-American president. Instead, what statistics show and what I've personally witnessed is a continuing decline in leadership and achievement in the school amongst African-American males. In some cases, there are flat out disdain for education and being perceived as smart in the school. When I was in school, it was a badge of honor to get good grades. When was he in school? Now, many of our boys are dumbing themselves down to fit in. And I don't know when this trend started, but it has to stop. What do you guys, what do you feel about that article, Stu? I know you have something to say about that. Did it actually show? Yeah. What do you feel about that article, Stu?
Man, I won't get too deep in it, man, but my feelings on education, bro. I promote academics to the fullest, right? So what we have to do, man, we keep singing this pipe dream of what we want to happen, but we allow people to come in and deter our young men away from education. Man, there's a huge force out there right now telling our black boys, you don't need school, you don't need to go to college, you don't need education, and we allow it to happen. So we think it's going to happen. Meanwhile, our black little girls are going to black women and they're striving for the best because we promote them to do that. Black boys, we tell them you don't need school, you need to go to college, you don't have to do that. You can be an entertainer. So we tell our boys that. So, it doesn't matter for every one of me who promote education, where there's trade school, where there's certifications, where there's licensing, where there's college, 4-degree college professionalism, you have 100 brothers telling them they don't need to go. So until we start that from happening to our young boys, we won't see an uptick like we should. It's just my opinion. I won't go into it deeper, but that's what I think.
Go ahead, Gordon. I was going to go to you next. Go ahead.
Well, what he said about us dumbing down, I mean, that's been happening forever. I mean, I'll be honest. I did the shit when I was in school. It wasn't cool to be smart, even though I still made good grades. You had to if you wanted to hang with a lot of the cool kids or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you had to be able to hang and talk and do all this shit with them. But I still made the good grades in the end because I realized, hey, I want to go to college. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I had to get the grades up to do that. On the other note of what Stu was talking about, we have to push out to our boys that there is more in life than playing basketball, playing football, running track, being the next LeBron James or whatever. There are 1 in a million. We need physical therapists. We need chiropractors. We need doctors. We need lawyers. We need policemen. So we got to teach our boys, man, that there are other options out there.
Awesome, Mike. What do you think we could do? Do you agree with that? Did you feel something was going to be different with President Obama being elected as president? Do you think it was going to change much?
Yeah, I did. I thought that things were going to change a lot, and not to get into politics, because I think President Obama did a good job, but he can't do it alone. I think some of the issue is that school is not sexy, right? We sensationalize entertainment. So if you look at most of the people that our children see who are successful and are millionaires, they're mostly entertainers. They're mostly sports figures. They're mostly people who sing and dance or act or comedians or whatever the case may be. So that's what they see. They don't see us owning technology companies. They don't see us owning, all the major news networks. Now we have some Black-owned networks now, right? But I'm talking about the major networks like Viacom, the NBC, things of that sort, right? So our children don't necessarily strive to that. So they don't understand how valuable this education is to be able to one day own something like that. They would rather, pick up a ball, catch a ball, hit a ball, or sing and dance to get to the promised land, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Adrian, wrong one. Adrian threw in. It's a strategic media battle. It is a device to make the next generation susceptible to mind control. I saw the other day, I read about this brother. He owned like a $400 million trucking company. And I'm just like, how is these brothers not being highlighted like this? Like, how do we not know about this?
I was going to say something about that. I was going to piggyback on what Oscar Mike said. We have the Breakfast Club. We have platforms, man, that reach millions of people. We just don't promote those people. We promote the entertainers. That's what it is. We have to start promoting
I will say the Breakfast Club does have a lot of people on from different areas.
I just named the Breakfast Club. I mean, like,
I'm just saying, but we don't tune into those episodes.
Like, I don't listen to it at all, actually.
Yeah, when they have the people, like, I mean, Charlamagne and them, they do get into it with the rappers and stuff, but when they have politicians on, when they have senators, when they have lawyers giving you law advice and all this stuff, they have them on, but those videos don't get the same amount of views if you got Lil Boosie on there, or if you got Soulja Boy on there, you know what I mean?
And if I may say so too, it's not African owned either, so they don't control the narrative, and that's the problem. And let the truth be told, it's all about ratings. You know what I'm saying? People compromise to be recognized. That's really the problem right there. They got enough economic power between all of them to go start their own radio broadcast. You know what I'm saying? They do all that talking and they have all this money. So why didn't you shift and go start your own? See, it's all talk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, I just gotta keep you all of you know my story already. I'm from the streets, bro. I don't got no time to be playing. You know what I'm saying? These brothers and sisters, they don't have no heart. They love money more than they love their people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're programmed to do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they put their love of money, they put their greed before they put their own people. And I'm not knocking them. I'm not, because I was a drug dealer. I get it. I got it. You know what I mean? So I'm not blasting them. I'm just telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? That love.
Glad you said it, man.
That love for that money got him, brother.
I'm glad you said it.
That is.
Yeah, okay.
It was a brother that started the first stock exchange the other day, and it didn't get really no news.
Bro, I just saw that. I was gonna ask y'all about that.
What did you just say?
I posted that.
What?
Yeah, I shared it. I was gonna ask y'all about that.
He started his first stock exchange, bro. Black dude. It didn't get no traction. That should have been just as big as LeBron starting the scoop.
bro.
bigger.
I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
Now that's something. I'm gonna be frank with you. I just found that out. You see what I'm saying?
It should be huge.
Yeah, I just found out. I didn't even know that, man.
That's why I like these platforms like this, because we can control the narrative, bro.
Exactly.
We really can't control what the major media does, because it's really only controlled by like 3 or 4 people. It's not even controlled by like 20 people. It's controlled 3 people own the major media. So we have to take advantage of this type of things. That's why I watch Amari stuff. That's why I share Oscar stuff. That's why I wanted us to get on here, because we have to control these narratives and we have to push this stuff out here. I got nieces and nephews that tune into this show, right? All of you got little cousins and nieces and nephews that probably tune into your shows. So that's how they're going to find out about this type of stuff through us. And maybe one day we can all come together and start our own actual networks, right?
I don't know.
That's true. That's true. And like, look at BET. See, a lot of people, they praise them, you know what I'm saying? And this is not to cut people down. A lot of people, they get upset about that when you tell the truth. Well, the truth first, say, ouch, I'm going to tell it the way it is. A lot of people celebrate them, but look at what they did, though. You understand what I'm saying? You know, look at, you know, they got toxic, you know, transmissions, and then they got, you know, empowering transmissions. That's an oxymoron, bro. You got gangster rap, you know what I'm saying? And then you turn around, you having KRS-One playing. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's why I don't like the breakfast, because for the simple fact, you got the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on there, then you got a Blood on there. That's a gangster rapper. Come on, B. It's you know what I'm saying? It's all about that money, man. You know what I'm saying? People, it's about what they need to hear. You know, and that's we talking about mentoring, right? That's why we need, you know, people who have knowledge and wisdom and understanding, who have love in their heart. You know what I'm saying? And we need mentors that have knowledge and wisdom and understanding, upright character. Because a lot of us, we had mentors, but they weren't good ones. You know what I'm saying? The problem is not the absentee of fathers. The problem is the absentee of morals. Morals. Because if the morals was there, then the father would be there. If the morals were there, then a lot of these things won't be happening, man. So we seeing a widespread of corruption, man. And corruption is what's messing up humanity holistically, bro.
Yeah. I know what I mean? Every day, man.
We got to go back to like the culture. And I'm not trying to cut nobody off. You know, the Uwa Pele, that's what that stand for. You know, my bloodline is the Yoruba bloodline. You know, and Ifa teaches us morals and principles and teaches us, you know, those type of practices where there's respect in the family, King. You know, and that's what is causing our community to be dilapidated because of the lack thereof. That's all I got.
All right. So let me ask you fellas this. When it comes down to mentorship, for number one, I want to say to the men is we not just have to mentor, we can mentor females too, women too, or little young girls. We just got to make sure that that's what we're doing. Just mentoring them. Period. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm spreading that. I'm not just talking to y'all. I'm talking to any dude who watching this. Like you're mentoring. You're not what they call it. Grooming. You're not grooming. You're just mentoring. All right, Oscar. Well, let me ask you a question, man. What do you think we could do to start mentoring these young men, like in the community? I heard you say you're going out there, you're getting jobs and stuff. What do you think we can do as on a more than a micro level to expand our mentorship for our young people?
So when you make it out, go back. When you make it out, you got to go back. You got to go back, and you have to let them see you. You have to let them see you being successful at something other than being an athlete. You have to go back and provide mentorship. And so I've been in the hood the last 3 weeks looking for properties, looking for lots, things of that sort. And I'll come across kids. I'll start talking to people in the neighborhood, ask them how the neighborhood is going. What do they think that they need to do to make the neighborhood a little bit more attractive? Things of that sort, man. I think that a lot of us, once we get out, we never really come back and lend that hand to pull the next person up. There's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Right. I think that's what made Nipsey hustle. Even though he was a rapper and a gangster, I think that's what made him so like special to people, because he stayed in the community and he made sure people saw him working in the community. He made sure people see that he was doing things in the community. That's what made him so big. Mario,
And
you
he was buying the block.
huh?
I said, and he was buying the block.
And not just that, like when they came back, like I remember I read a story about an electrician. He got some people to come. He got the city to actually pay for some of the electrical poles and stuff to get fixed in the neighborhood. So when those people came out, he took them out drinks. He took them out gear. He made sure that they felt safe and welcome into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So they didn't mind coming back to help and fix. What's up, Stu?
Now, I just want to dive a little deeper because I think too often we stop at the surface, the feel goods, to see our face. We buy drinks, we help out, right? But like what Amari said, is the morality, man. Because we have a lot of organizations giving back. We have a lot of fraternities, a lot of entertainers, a lot of churches, a lot of people out here doing a lot of good stuff. But nobody's trying to change the culture and the morality, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are blending in instead of coming out there and being the plum, the upright, you know, what we try to strive to be like. You know, nobody's trying to be the example. We go in and then we try to, you know, blend into the local neighborhood. All of a sudden we change our language, we change the way we act, and we just blend in and have fun with everybody. You know, we passing out barbecues and plates and giving speeches, and you leave again. But nobody's trying to change the culture. Nobody's trying to change the bad morals and all of those things that cause the issues in the first place. That never happens, bro. Nobody wants to be the bad guy.
Let me ask you, what steps can you, what suggestions and recommendations do you give to change the culture? Because the culture is a mindset. It's deep.
Everything I just said, man. Even if you just reach one person to teach them the right way, you know, especially even if you find a young brother who's an entrepreneur out there, you know, who just want to make his way, teach him how to start a legit business, to do it the right way. Don't do it under the table. You know, pay your taxes. You know, savings. You know, just do things differently. Don't do things under the table. You can do things like that. You can, you know, you don't have to be out there telling somebody, you know, don't be a gang member is bad. But at the same time, you don't have to help promote that either. You know, because a lot of times, I love LeBron James. I see him do it too. 1 minute he promoting school and stuff. Next minute he hanging with a gangster blood on the sideline. So what that tell kids, it's okay to be a gangster blood and do what gangster bloods do because I'm hanging with LeBron James. I'm not saying it's right, but that's the message that young kids get too. So we kind of like glamorize the wrong things in our community. I'm not saying I got the answers to it. I'm not sitting here telling I know everything, but I'm just telling you, I was a young kid once too. And a lot of things were glamorized to me as a kid. I thought it was okay to do it, but it's not.
Courtney, what do you think we could do to kind of relate to the kids then? If they're already setting this mentality, how can we get in there and relate to them like that?
The truth is, you just got to be able to be honest with yourself, and you got to be able to be honest with who you're talking to. If people can tell when you're not genuine, so if you're coming from a place where you're just pulling stuff out of your ass just to be saying stuff, they can feel that. I try to tell people all the time when I'm telling them like the things that I've gone through and what brought me to the place I am now. I try to be as honest about that as possible so that they can see that, damn, this brother has been through some shit, so he probably has experienced a couple of things that I might be going through. So when I try to talk to younger people, especially, I try not to come from like an authoritative figure, but I try to come from a place of I know where you're going. I know where you're about to head to. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to enforce anything on them, but I just want to give them some, like, I feel like every conversation that you have with somebody, it's important to maybe leave them with something to think about. That way, if you leave them with something to think about, it just doesn't go out one ear and come in one ear and go out the other.
Okay, this is going to be my last question on the mentorship. Oscar Mike, I remember we were saying that we didn't have that great of leadership, but you did meet someone that kind of helped change your perspective. What did that person do to catch your attention?
Well, to be honest, one of the things he did was told me to pick up the right books. Taught me to educate myself, taught me to stop thinking small. I didn't realize it at the time, but I thought very small. I just wanted to work a job, and I just wanted to get paid, and I just wanted to retire and live comfortably. But then when I figured out how to, he taught me leverage, taught me the right books, taught me to make the right relationships. I mean, I have more friends on the internet that I've never met who've helped me than people, my family or people I know in real life, man. And that's sad. But those are just relationships that I met through mentorship and just putting myself out there. So since we're talking about mentorship in our community, mentorship is very important because, you have someone who's already walked that walk, right? And then you have access to that information. And my day job, right? If you don't have a mentor and you don't have access to the information, you don't talk the language. Okay? And people will not take you seriously because you're not using the buzzwords, you're not talking the language, you're not talking the way that they want you to talk. If you have the right mentor, the mentor helps you maneuver through things so that you don't have to go through those steps. You kind of start the race a little bit ahead. It's one thing that we're lacking in our community. So if I know how to start a business, but I don't come back and teach you how to start a business and mentor you and help you not make the mistakes that I made, okay, I'm hurting you. I'm just as wrong as someone else who's not giving you that information. But if I'm giving you that information, you're going to start off a little bit further, and then you mentor the next person, and they start off a little bit further, and so on and so on and so on. That's how we bring this thing up. That's what true mentorship is.
Hey, Rob, I know that was the last question. Can I say one thing what Oscar just said? I just want to get this out of there. I'm sorry. So you're absolutely right, and I want to make that example. Sometimes you don't have to go 100 miles away. You can reach the brother right next to you because they might be trying to come up and help their family as well. Oscar might help me out a lot. It's a lot of stuff I didn't know. I was trying to come up and do a lot of things. So that brother reached out to me and was my mentor, and I was able to take the information, reach out to somebody, and so forth and so on. So sometimes you don't have to go 100 miles away. There's a brother right next to you who needs you. Yeah. And you can help his family, and his family helps somebody else, and it trickles. So that's what I want to say.
If you're an adult and you don't have a mentor, you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
Even I know we said young people and everything, but even I have a mentor. I have a couple of them. I mean, I even consider some of you guys, you're my mentor, you're my friends, but you're also my mentor because I reach out to you and I ask you for information. You guys have experience and stuff I don't have. And I'm 39 years old. So no matter how old you are, if you don't have a mentor, go find one and get that out. All right. We're going to move on into another portion of the mentor of things like, because this is one thing a mentor can teach you. What Amari and Oscar are going to talk about is we're going to talk about business credit as a business owner. Because remember 2 weeks ago, we talked about credit. And one of the shocking things that came out to me from doing my research and what we talked about is they were saying that 99% of Black entrepreneurs use credit to launch their business and they end up in debt. Right? So, Amar, what are some of the tips that you can give some of these entrepreneurs on how to use the credit, but also not to dig themselves more into a deeper hole?
Excellent question. And it's like what you said, business credit is the way to go because it doesn't affect your personal credit. Now, in order for you to do that, let's back it up. Like Brother Oscar's holding up, the king of credit over there. You know what I mean? I think I seen a black card over there too, but I'm going to chill on that. My man rocking with Jay-Z over there with the black cards. You understand what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, but all seriousness, man, you take your business credit and you use it. But let's back it up because I like to give people the real. How you supposed to do it. First and foremost, you have to register your business. You can't get business credit without first the legality measure. The reason why a lot of our businesses don't last that long is because of the lack of knowledge in regards to how to do business right. Okay, so first of all, you have to register your business with the state. Okay, now let's back it up a little farther than that too. when you come up with a business name, you need to go on the state registry to find out whether or not that business entity already exists. For those who do not know, and I'm not speaking ill of brother Bobby Valentino, I'm just telling you what actually happened and the importance of doing this. The reason why Bobby Valentino had to change his name to Bobby V is because of that. That name was already trademarked, and he went into a court case because of that. And so he had to change his name from Bobby Valentino to Bobby V. All right. So let's start with the legality piece. All right. Why is it that people can't get the triple P? Why is it that people can't get the stimulus monies? It's because their business is not legally registered. Although you are a business in your eyes, you do not have your business legally registered. How do you do that? You go onto the IRS site. You legally register that business after. Don't do this backwards. Don't go register your name and then go look. All right. You know what I'm saying? That's going to cost you a lot of money right there. Okay. So, make sure it's clear first. Then you go do that. You get your EIN number. You know what I'm saying? Your employee identification number. Also, which is for free. Listen, I helped a brother not to spend $500,000 with this information. So like my brother said, what I'm telling you, some people will literally charge you for what I'm telling you right now. Okay, so I'm giving you some nuggets. I want to give you the game. You know what I'm saying? Just like we did back in the day. Now it's an honest hustle. So I want to give you the game. I want to teach you how to win, right? So don't let nobody trick you and lead you to believe you got to pay for an EIN. No, you do not. Okay, what you got to pay for is to register your business. All right, so I'm telling you all this because before you get, your business credit, okay, what you also need to do is you're going to have to register your business with Dun and Bradstreet. Dun and Bradstreet. You got to have your Dun's number. So you use that information and you get trade lines. Okay, so you'll go to somebody like Granger, Uline, okay, and you'll get what you call like a net 30. Some have 60 and 90. Okay, depending on how that business operates, sometimes you have to be with that particular business for a certain period of time for you able to move up to the 60 and 90. Okay, so it's called a net 30. All right, then you get what you call an apex score. When you start using your business credit, you start building up an apex score. It's just like your personal credit. Okay, your personal credit, just like your personal credit score, as you use it, you pay it on time and your score goes up, and they report your apex score as well. Now, why is this important? Because when you go to a bank, they're going to look for business credit. Okay, if your business has not been in existence for at least 2 to 3 years, matter of fact, more than that, 3 to 5 in some cases, okay, you cannot even get a business loan. Okay, so you can't get a business loan if you haven't done none of that, what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there because I want my man Oscar to jump in too.
All right, thanks, man. That was some good business stuff right there, bro. Thank you.
You're welcome, family.
He just gave some coaching that I told you he charges for this. So if you're hearing this right now, you better go ahead and make some notes and write it down, and also hit my man up if you need some more advice. Oscar, your specialty and what you've been giving us free game on is how to leverage your business credit to work for you. Why don't you tell us some things on what you've done and what you see people can do to leverage business credit to help them come up?
All right. Yeah, no problem. So first and foremost, in order to, and Amar, chime in later, but first thing you need to do is get your personal credit together, right? So if you want to start a business and you don't have money and you don't have a network that you can tap into to get money, you have to try to obtain some business credit. In order to do that, you need to use your personal credit to be able to leverage that business credit. Now, you can go to companies like Chase, Bank of America, Capital One, but like Amar said, your business has to be, established for a couple of years to get that stuff. Now, there's a couple types of business credit. I'm gonna get into two. We're gonna talk about docs and no docs. All right. So no docs are companies like Capital One, Chase. For the most part, you can say or you report pretty much, for lack of a better term, on an honor system of how much revenue your business is bringing in. Okay. So, so say for example, your business is bringing in 100,000, you apply with Chase, they do check that you put your personal social security number down and your EIN number down to leverage your personal credit to get business credit. So they make sure that it's you. They make sure that your personal credit is within good standing. And for the most part, most cases, they will, lend you some credit without having any docs, without you showing how much money your business is actually bringing in. Now, the other one is kind of like what Amar was talking about. If you're trying to get a business loan, that's going to be docs. They're going to want to see your bank records. They're going to look at your Duns and Bradstreet, even Experian. Some companies report to Experian your business credit as well. So starting off, a lot of people use no docs, right? So they try to get Capital One, Office. Like I got Capital One, Office Depot, Discover, Shell. The easiest ones to get starting your business off is like an Office Depot, a gas card, like Shell. Start with those first, right? And you'll have those for maybe about 6 months. And you pay, just use it once a week, pay it off. Use it once a week, pay it off, right? You do that 3 to 6 months, then you move up, right? You try to get Chase. You get a couple Chase cards or whatever. Then once you get from there, let's say you're in business maybe about a year and a half. Then you start going for the big boys. Go for like a Citi or American Express or something like that. And then after that, your business has been around for a couple of years. You can apply to Blue Nile, Cabbage, things of that sort, or other businesses to try to, get some business credit. Now, what I use business credit for is to close the gap. So for me, I love real estate. I do some other things as well, but real estate, I use business credit and business credit cards to close the gaps on purchases I need. So last year, I replaced 2 ACs in rental properties or whatever. It didn't come out of my pocket. I just used the money from my business credit. The money from my business gets reinvested back into my business and to pay off all the debt. I play the monopoly game, whereas though I take all my money and I continue to buy property and I continue to put the money back into the property. I keep buying those green houses so that I can put the red hotel on it. So one day I own it outright, and if you land on Park Place, you got to pay me $2,000. So that's the way that I use business credit to close the gap.
Cool. That's some good game. So what I heard both of you say one thing in common, that it takes some time for you to get to build up to get loans and stuff right there. So I would say to anybody who's saying I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that, go ahead and start. Like Amari said, you can file for your EIN number for free, right?
Yeah, I got a question to both of them. Just in case anyone is confused in the audience. So when you say it takes a couple of years to get loans, is that a difference between getting a loan and a credit card, or is it easier to get a credit card than it is to obtain a loan?
Amari, you're on mute, brother. Amari, you're on mute, brother.
Okay, I'll answer. I think he's on mute, so I'll answer. So it's easier to get the business credit cards first, and then later on get the loan. Okay, so starting off, I would recommend you go for business credit. So there's even companies out there where you can pay, and they'll take your information and they'll shoot it out to 100 banks, and they'll see if they can get you credit to loans. Most of the time, charge you 8% or whatever they get you. Some people charge 10%. It all depends. But one thing about business credit is kind of like you talked on earlier, RJ, is a lot of people get themselves in trouble messing with business credit. You can't get business credit and go get your Lambo, okay? You use this for your business and your business, okay? Because if not, it'll be fruit from a poisonous tree. You're going to get yourself in trouble.
You breaking up, Oscar Mike, real bad, bro.
He's getting us again.
And for the loans, one of the things that better?
Yeah.
So for loans, you have to be in business most of the time for a couple of years. They're going to want to see docs, and they're going to want to see your bank account. They're going to want to see, you bringing in somewhere between at least $5,000 to $10,000 a month before they want to extend you some real business credit. Like, if you want to try to get 40, 50, 60,000 or whatever. But what I've found between me and clients that I've worked with, companies like Cabbage, they'll extend you the credit as long as you have money coming in and you're paying them back from that same account that they see the accounts receivable. Amar, do you have anything you want to chime in on?
Oh man, you doing great right there. You doing absolutely phenomenal. And another thing he mentioned too, I like that is talking about your credibility, which is not just limited to your business credit as well. It's also how your business is established. Okay, for myself being a real estate investor, okay, you have to have a well-established business. You have to have an office. You have to have a fax number. You know, you have to have a telephone number. You have to actually have a address. Okay, you can't have your house as your address. I just want to throw a little something in there on that too.
So even we in the world of e-commerce now, it still wants your storefront.
Oh, well, you know, you could get a back room office. You know what I'm saying? You can literally get that back room office and what have you. You know what I'm saying? So you can go to a facility and rent out a specific address.
Space. Okay.
And let me ask this: what if you get a UPS box?
Oh no, not for no real estate.
Nah, they don't do those, bro.
No, sir. Not for real estate business. Oh no.
I'm talking about for like commerce.
Now, e-commerce, that's fine because it's online. You could use your personal address for e-commerce. I know because I have one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it depends on your state too. Let this be known. You got to go by your state as well because every state is not the same. So I will always highly encourage you to find out your state's stipulations.
Right.
Our resident, let me read this Facebook comment. Our resident credit expert, Adrian, says, get your personal credit together. In other words, you cannot get away from that 3-digit number.
Absolutely.
Hey, Adrian.
Oscar, let me ask you a question. You said something earlier about moving your personal credit over to your business credit. How does that kind of work?
Oh, you talking to me?
No, Oscar. He said
that before. Yeah, that's a back conversation. That out on the internet.
So you breaking up anyway. So
I can't put that out. Internet, man. We giving out too many secrets over here. Come on over here.
All right. So, you got anything else to add, Amar, on that? On those tips?
In regards to the business,
so
the business
you know,
credit,
am I breaking up now? Or am I good?
Your bank account. You have to have when you're dealing with the conventional loans. It's different when you're getting a OPM, other people's money. It's different. The stipulations is different. Your credit score and all those things. What they're looking at is they're looking at assets. Now they're looking at assets because they're looking at, okay, you may not have the capital, but that house you have, I can get my money out of that. You understand? So a private lender is looking at your assets. And in some cases, all of them are not the same. Some of them will look at your credit too, depending on who that private lender is. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, looking at, but anyway, you got to, with the real estate industry, you got to have a bank account. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to look at, like Oscar was talking about, your transactions going into that bank account. When you start dealing with that, you know, and things of that nature. And also you got to have your business registered because when you go to the bank, they're going to look for your documentation. Yeah. Some people, they try to sidestep this all the time. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell y'all something. I love y'all, but listen, grandma, auntie, uncle, y'all, I know you some good cooks and you could throw down. But somebody mess around, get sick, and they'll sue you. Okay, so this is why you want your business to be registered, because now it won't affect you, it affects your business. Okay, it won't affect your personal credit. Okay, because your business is a totally separate entity. You know what I'm saying? You technically, now I gotta tell you guys this, because I gotta give you the millionaire talk. You know what I'm saying? I know I got my little swag with me, but follow me. All right. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the millionaire talk is you start controlling. You really don't own, because your business owns it. You control. As a chief executive officer of a business, you control. You don't own. Your business owns it. So the business is the name. You see what I'm saying? So they won't sue you. They're suing the business. You understand what I'm saying? So it's two separate things, and that's
they only going to tax the business's assets.
That's right. And that's why you also need insurance. When you go into business, you need business insurance. Even as a landlord, we have to have insurance on those properties. We got to have it. Okay, so family, I'm telling you, do business right, because some of you missed out on some of this free money.
Yeah.
I got a question.
I'm telling you, some of you missed out on this money. Yo, I'm a business. And seriously, people actually did it. People actually, oh, I got a business. You know, but they don't understand the mechanics. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand the mechanics, and it's sad that we don't understand it. I'm not beating nobody up. I'm serious. This is the reason why this is important, because you could have got that triple P money.
And it goes back to education, man.
Yeah.
Right back to education.
That's it, King. That's it. I'm talking about the right
education.
You know, so I have to be very specific, because some people have education, but they miseducated. Some people have informed, but they misinformed. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I got one more question before I let you guys go to another topic. So we see a lot of stats, we see a lot of numbers. The Black community, we don't own businesses, we're not entrepreneurs, we don't do this, and that, and other. But I see a lot of us, we do, we just don't register it, so that's not captured in the data. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I totally agree. And a lot of people are afraid, man. A lot of people are afraid. You know, if that's the reason why you need the right people in your corner, you need a team. You got to have an accountant. We do. We have a tax preparer. We have these things. You know what I'm saying? You got, as long as you understand, see, it's fear. Fear comes from the lack of knowledge. That's why I'm not afraid to do business, because I understand I'm doing business right. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep records. You got to record things. You got to keep up with your receipts. So people are afraid because they don't understand how to do business. Once you understand it and you understand the tax write-offs, you understand how you're able to see it's not. Some people say, oh, you avoid taxes. No, you don't. No, you don't. You mitigate taxes. You mitigate taxes by the government following the tax laws, and you getting the write-offs. And there's no such thing as that. That's evasion. You going to jail. All right. Ask my man Wesley. You know what I mean? You know, they go get a hold of you, fam. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the proper terminology is the mitigation. You know, so once you understand these things, you know, we got back a nice chunk of change, because it's doing what we supposed to be doing. Us keeping track and having our business registered.
I learned that too. I thought school gave you a nice chunk of change back on your taxes. No, my first year filing under my business, I got a nice chunk of change. I bought furniture that year. I bought some stuff.
For the business, right?
Because my home is my office, so I gotta make my office into my work spot. So it actually does count as write-offs.
See, now you talking, brother. Now you talking. You know, in-home businesses.
I got something, Rod. I got something, Rod.
Go ahead. We're gonna give it 5 seconds.
So this is what we got, people. I would venture to say we are okay. I would say that we are very great business people, right? But again, we don't have the knowledge. Through mentorship, we can get there, but we have to educate ourselves. The internet has leveled the playing field. All the information that you need is out there for free in most cases. The mechanics, Amar talked about the mechanics. Yes, you have to know the mechanics. One of the things I use to track my spending is Stride Tax. I know Stu, he uses QuickBooks, whatever the case may be. Those things are actually easy to do, and you can just hand that to your tax professional. Another thing we need to learn, which we kind of talked about earlier in our community, is leverage. See, what we do is we get a little bit of credit, then you go buy a Lexus. What you need to do is get a little bit of the credit and then leverage that to be able to get some assets. We don't own enough stuff as Black people, okay? Ooh. You look at our median household income versus the other median household income, and it's 10 times more. Because we haven't figured out how to leverage what little bit we do have to get more, okay? So if we just, step back for a second and have one less drink, one less pair of Jordans, one less anything, and took that money and leveraged it and put it down on something else, you can obtain that asset. So, for example, if we're going to talk about real estate, right? You own 10 properties, you own half of them outright, or even if you don't. Because you control those assets, you can go to the bank and get what's called a portfolio loan. And you can do a cash refi on those properties and take that and go buy more properties and double it up. Those are the things that we're lacking in. So right now, you own a house, you own a house that's worth $250,000. You only own $100,000 left, so you $150,000 in equity on it. Give you sometimes % of that equity line of credit. Now you have this line of credit. You can take that line of credit and go buy assets. Instead of taking that and going and paying off your credit card, you can go buy assets that's going to produce some income for you. That's why we're falling behind.
And most people use equity on vacations.
That brother bringing the heat.
Denise from Facebook said,
that's what they do.
Be careful with the information on the internet. Too many people out there using this as an easy way to hustle people rather than actually educate them. That's why you got to vet people, Denise. I understand what you're saying. We talk about this all the time, but you have to sit back and don't rush into anything.
There you go.
Vet people. Watch them. Sit back and watch them for a little bit.
That's right.
Read the reviews. Read the comments. People don't care on the internet. They'll leave a review for you. They'll put it out there if they feel like you're a scam artist. So don't rush into anything. Don't jump just because you heard somebody once. Sit back and watch them for a minute. I've been watching Amare for a minute. I've been watching him for a while. I've been watching his live. I've been watching him.
I knew I felt some eyes on it.
I'm telling people, all of a sudden we ended up in the same club, things like that. And I was like, okay, there we go. I know this brother's legit.
Right over here like a gadget.
That you gotta be. I've been taken advantage of before. So you do have to be that way. I mean, we're the best thing about being a human. Our gift is pattern recognition. You need to sit back and recognize the patterns.
I'm glad you said that about credibility, because that's another thing. That's why you got to register your business too, because that's credibility. Business in the 411. Okay, putting your business in the Dun and Bradstreet, putting your business in the Better Business Bureau. You know what I'm saying? Credibility. And that's exactly what we're actually talking about right now, is credibility. And also that's the reason why it's important to register, because I know that's what we do. My queen and I, we looking you up. You know, you're saying you're a legitimate business, then you should be registered with the state. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's another good way one of the ways, because let the truth be told, that's why you want to look at those reviews. You know, even before I buy a product on Amazon, I'm looking at the credibility. Let's just keep it real. I'm just keeping, this is Amar. I'm talking about me. I'm looking at the credibility of this brand before I actually buy it. You know what I'm saying? When you first start out, people, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. When we first started out our business, our online business, people were sitting back. But when we start getting those reviews and people start taking pictures and we start showing people in the pictures and everything else, people start, okay, they're good. And they just start buying. Next thing you know, we start moving towards being a 6-figure business. That this is no lie. It's real talk. So your credibility means a whole lot.
Right, George. Information is power. You saw he was throwing up those books. I hope you saw the books that he was throwing up there too, because that's information in there for you. Courtney, you got anything you want to add, brother?
No, I'm listening, bro. I'm taking notes.
You're just taking notes, bro.
I'm taking notes, man. Y'all, I already told you I'm working on a couple projects, so I'm just taking notes.
I'm still new to this too. I started one business. I'm starting my second one right now. So this is information for me too.
Go ahead, King.
I'm learning more.
Serial Entrepreneur Club, King.
That's what I want to throw that out there to people too. There are clubs out there. There are investment clubs. There are entrepreneur clubs. Get out there and join these clubs.
That's what I wanted to
about these people and get this information.
I got to jump off, man. But this one last comment I wanted to bring up, because we always talk about mentoring, reaching back. But man, we have a lot of clubs out here. We have a lot of brothers who are reaching back. We have a lot of groups. Man, we are doing this stuff.
Go ahead.
So this is not the 1980s when people was partying and forgot about the community. We're doing this. My generation, at least, we're doing it. So I don't know why it's still painted as if we're not reaching back. Something else has to be done. So we're doing it already. And like with Brother Amari, I want him to talk about this before I leave because I want to hear it again about having vision. If somebody don't have vision with you, you can't go anywhere. You have to align yourself with someone who has the same vision as you do. Remember you spoke about that on the live cast the other day?
Queen and I, absolutely.
Yeah. And that stuck with me because I have been talking about that anyway. So sometimes, man, you try to help people, but they don't have the vision. You really can't get through to them. You can't force anybody to do anything.
That's right.
When they're ready to get on board, sure. But, it's just tough, man. And that happens a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot,
it goes back to programming. And we all really know what the mentality is. That's why I don't beat people up. If you notice the whole time, I just highlight what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? And I just speak the facts. And the realization is that we're not programmed. A lot of us are not programmed to go back. And so many people get so upset with a lot of us who lead a community and don't come back is because a lot of us are not programmed with a family-oriented mentality. A lot of us are not programmed to make our community more beautiful than what it was when we inherited it. That's the reason why the 7 principles of Kwanzaa are so important. You know what I'm saying? Because it gives you that moral foundation. And that's what the problem is, family. People run away from the solution to the problem. People run away from the solution to the problem. Why? Because, that problem is getting them paid.
Yeah.
Right? That problem getting them paid, right? Gangster rap, right? That weapon of mass destruction is getting them paid, right? You know what I'm saying? So, no, we don't want to get rid of that because then no. But that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our young people are being programmed by lyrical content. It's information that programs our mind. It's the upload, not the download, because the upload is it's from a lower source. But see, the download is a higher consciousness. We're focusing on a lower frequency. You know what I'm saying? And these vibrations, these frequencies are programming our subconscious, and it's causing us to live in a dilapidated state, man. This is the reason why we have so much problems in our communities, man. It's because we're not addressing that. And let the truth be told, a lot of times the parents not saying nothing about the education. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're not fighting. Our children is going to school, still learning about their slaves. The parents don't have the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They're not studying. They're not educating themselves. So it's a domino effect of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? And we're intoxicated, man.
The gangster rap.
Say again?
Amar, that's more the problem in the gangster rap.
It is. Yeah.
People not educating themselves and the parents not educating the children is more harmful than gangster rap.
And I've met so many parents because I push education a lot. Hey, and I offer a program. Hey, we got this program in the feds, or we have this program for the kids. What are your kids going to school for? I don't care. Whatever they want to do. I'm like, what? These kids don't know anything about the world. It's your job to guide them to how they can be successful and make an impact.
Oh man, you started a whole other conversation.
But so many parents tell me, I don't know, whatever they want to do. They don't know shit.
Right.
Bro, you gotta know what your kids are doing. You gotta know what your kids are into. You gotta know what they're thinking about.
There you go, brother.
What's wrong in our community?
What'd you say, Oscar?
Yeah. One of the things that's wrong in our community, we tell our children to go to school, give them real direction. I said one of the things that's wrong in our community is that we tell our children to go to school, point them in a direction. Engineering, or if you're good at mathematics, tell your child that they need to go to school to get something that's going to be marketable, not go to school for theater. Now, there's nothing wrong with going to school for theater, right? But we have more Black people who have gone to college right now in 2020, but less Black people who are educated, if that makes sense to you. Because people they still don't have the requisite skills to go out here and fend for themselves.
Brother,
I tell my kids, you know what I tell my kids, that there's a major and there's a minor for for reasons. You can major in something and you can minor in something else, right? Like you can pick like your passion, what you want to do. You want to be in theater, okay, minor in that.
Well,
major in something else that's going to actually maybe come in the long run for a career.
Wow, I like that. I like that, man. We leave it up to Unfortunately, we leave it up to the teachers to do our jobs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the problem is. It's
Right.
our job. We're the first line of defense. And this is the reason why we go backwards instead of forward. How can you trust your enemy to educate your child? You know what I'm saying? That curriculum was never constructed to liberate us. You understand? It's our job as the elders in our families. And I can speak on this because, first of all, I'm a father and I'm a grandfather. You understand what I'm saying?
Elder for real.
My grandchildren.
OG.
Say again?
He said
No,
you
so
were
you're elder for real.
Yeah. OG, triple OG.
Indeed, man. Matter of fact, all of our children are in their 20s, man. You know, and so my grandchildren, we have a granddaughter on the way, you know, as well. So the thing is, I can say this because I actually educated my son. My son knows exactly where we come from. I even started teaching my son our language. You know what I'm saying? I don't leave that to other people to educate my child. I share that information with my son that I learned. The same thing I'm sharing on here, my son know it. And my son is 21. And, you know, and I taught him about credit. I taught him about going to school and being able to get an academic scholarship and things of this nature, because I personally was very fortunate to have educated people around me that were savvy to these tools that will help to lighten the burden, if you will, financially. You know what I'm saying? So some of these things I learned from people within the community. You know what I mean? And so I was able to share that with my son. It's a domino effect of knowledge now, you know? And then so we're sending our children to school to learn about slavery, to learn about Kunta Kinte.
Exactly.
And then the problem is they know about George Washington, but they don't know about George Washington Carver.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They know about, you know, other figures like that in the community, but they don't know about the other ones, man. You know, that's where the problem is at, man. We got to get more knowledge out there. I'm gonna leave it there because I know we got to end the program.
Yeah, we went into a whole nother topic.
Yeah,
but man, I got to start making some clips.
Yeah.
I've been taking that business part and just putting it out there, bro. Thank you so much, Amari. Somebody dropped Camila. I don't know if she's one of your friends. She's not one of my friends. Camila Ashley said Amari dropping dimes up in here.
Man, you shorted me. That's a jewel, bro.
Yeah.
My bad.
You know, you calling me a snake. What's good?
Yeah, man. Man, get it right. Radio.
I got a rock of diamond out there. My man that put me in the sense. You know what I'm saying?
You got that diamond. My bad. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, man. We had some good participation. Mark, go ahead and throw your information into the chat.
Okay.
So everybody can follow you. Oscar, throw your link in there too, so everybody can follow you on your own. We actually got a laughing emoji on that one. We got some laughing emotions. But yeah, that's cool. You guys came in and thank you so much for dropping that knowledge. I learned a lot tonight.
Yeah, I learned something too, man.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody else who joined us learned something tonight. We're gonna be back next week. Everybody keeps telling me to talk about colorism.
No, I don't think that's productive.
Nah, not at all.
I mean,
that's why you see the look on my face. It's just like everybody keeps hitting me up. Come on, let's talk about
fruits would come of that, though.
That's what
fruits would be born from that, man. In my opinion.
This is my thoughts exactly. I don't know what's going to come out of that at all. That's going to be productive. So
that's an argument topic for no reason.
It is. That's one of them.
Now, if we want to promote the African diaspora, that's different. But to debate colorism is, I think it's gossipy, man. I don't know. I don't think it is my opinion.
One thing I do want to talk about is relationships. Somebody did mention, because I look at Amar. He does his business with his wife, and they do their show. And that was cool, man. I like seeing y'all on y'all show yesterday.
Well, you know, Ryan, you say that, and I watched the show, man. I paid attention. He found somebody who can uplift him as well, bro.
That's
They
what
on the same accord.
That's why I want to talk about relationships.
Yeah, so you saying all that, I'm like, man,
Like,
he's
kinda
blessed because you don't get to find that every day. I mean, that's not normal.
you can find it. Is just
I would not
one
see.
thing that I know we don't get the tools.
We're
to
gonna have
find
to talk about that one because women, they think that it's so easy for us to find a woman. I'm saying, oh, you know, we got problem with men. We got the same problem.
That's why I kind of want to talk about that.
We all messed up. You know what I'm saying? Talk
They
about it.
they just don't know. They just don't know.
They just don't know that they got the same training a lot of us got, which was either bad training or nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good subject more than colorism. Ugh.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't want to talk about that. All right, y'all.
Man, we can't turn this Ayana fix my life, man.
Like I said, go ahead. Amari dropped his in there. Mike dropped his in there. Oscar might be dropping those videos. I did like that lifeguard one though. I thought about that a lot, bro. And that's why I'm gonna start telling my children that too. Yeah, I like that one.
I appreciate that.
Boy.
That was dope. I do tell them, I'm gonna start telling my children, you're gonna walk out in this world. Because I always tell them too, you walk out this door, don't nobody give a fuck about you. And most of the people don't give a fuck about you. So just to make it a little easier,
that's kind of depressing.
more relatable.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I kind of depressed that young man. Like, nobody don't care about me.
Shit, I say you come in this house sometimes.
No lifeguard on duty, man.
No lifeguard on duty, right?
No lifeguard on duty.
No lifeguard on duty, bro.
Alex Bradley jumped on, said lots of good info. Thanks, Alex. Robert came on. Fire. Salute to brother Amar. Yeah, thank you, Amar. We got to have you back home, brother. We definitely on the relationship one. We might try to schedule out a little bit later, but we got to have you and your wife on here.
Okay, let's do it.
So y'all can talk about things and share with us, man. And then she can call you her chocolate bar again. Well, have me dying laughing, but that's cool, man. I'm glad you found love, and I'm glad you found someone that it's hard, bro. It's so hard to find someone to have your back like that.
Yeah,
it's really hard. So, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. Remember, we said, like we always say, let's keep building. That's all we got to keep doing. We're in the war, and in that war, we got to keep building. And we are not just fighting with guns. We're not just fighting with our hands. We got to fight with our minds. We got to fight on the financial tip too. We need money. All right. Knowledge is power. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep building.